Hey guys, Jack Spirko here with Duck Chronicles Season 4, Episode 3. I know I promised you this would be tomorrow, but I've decided to go ahead and do a back porch video with you. So no little duckies in this one. Pretty much all the rest of the episodes will have little ducks in them. I just thought it would be a good idea for me to sit down with you, have my morning coffee, and kind of celebrate the fact that ducks are returning to 9 Mile Farm, and tell you what my goals are with Season 4 to help you get the most out of it and to help me give you the most of what you want in it. So let's start out with my basic goals and what's different this time. So we ran anywhere at any given time somewhere between 85 at our lowest and about 150 at our highest ducks for about 4 years here on this piece of property. And they were a massive help in increasing the fertility, manage and breaking a huge pest cycle problem that we had with grasshoppers every year. This place was a grasshopper plague. And this year, after all of those seasons of ducks, even without ducks running on the property, we had a very low grasshopper count in a very dry year, which usually dry years, lots of grasshoppers. So they did their job, but it was time for the land to heal and kind of come back from, if the dog didn't beat up the tripod there chasing the cat, to kind of come back and have time for all the herbaceous stuff and all of the seed banks to produce this spring, and they did that, and we needed a year off, and we decided we didn't want to be in the commercial duck business anymore. My wife primarily ran that business. I ran the system, and she ran the business, and those are two different things. Farming is a business, but it's got two components. It's got production, and it's got customer service on the other side. You have to sell that product. And with something like eggs, it's also got packaging and all of that stuff. So she took care of the packaging, she took care of the customer service, the customer relations, the sales side, getting us restaurants and farm to fork stores and stuff like that. And now she's got her grandkids every day, and she doesn't have time for it. So we just decided that wasn't a thing for us anymore. So I decided to bring 10 birds on the property, and I'm bringing these birds on the property the way, honest to God, most of you will. Most of you guys out there that watch the Duck Chronicles and my other videos, you're not going to have 100, 200 ducks in a giant customer base. Charlie, what's up, man? You're not going to have that giant customer base. You're not going to want it. What you're going to want is the highest quality food for your family. So that's what we want. We miss not having duck eggs. The first time I had to buy eggs after the ducks went away, I was honestly PO'd. I was like, this is ridiculous, because I ran out of my little Bantam chicken eggs, and I had to go buy eggs, and I was like, not only does this seem ridiculous to me after all these years of producing eggs, but they're just, I don't care if it's free range, cage free, what, organic, it doesn't matter. A chicken egg does not match up to a duck egg. It just doesn't. And no egg from a store that I've ever found anyway matches up to any egg produced on your homestead from a free range animal, truly free range. So we wanted to bring them back, and we wanted to have just basically that little flock to run around. Like, the whole thing started 5 years ago. That's all it was going to be. And so that's what we're doing. I did want to kind of come out of the gate this season early on with pets versus livestock. In the second video, you see my granddaughter going pet, pet. She actually has it down right, guys, because she wants to pet them. She's not calling them pets there at the end. Ducks are not pets. You can make ducks have a pretty good feeling of safety around you and things like that, but a duck is a duck. It is not a dog. It is not a cat. You see these videos where, like, the little kid comes home and the duck's all excited waiting for him and all. That duck is stressed out, because that duck is a duck by himself. Ducks are social animals, no less than 3 in your flock, and I would say 4 to 6 is a better number. The truth is, ducks die. It happens, and there's a reason I have 2 drakes and 8 ducks. If I lose 1 drake, I still got a drake. I want to be able to reproduce some more on that in a moment. I want to bring some automation to you guys this year, and show you some ways that you can make things a little bit easier and less work. With only 10 ducks, we should be able to set systems up where basically, if I set up a way for them to be let out automatically, and I might, then you could not do anything except pick up eggs, for a few days at a time. We'll probably not set up automated doors right away. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to be managing this much smaller flock with rotation and whatnot on my property. I am going to be teaching them that some areas are just bad, scary areas and stay away from, because you can train ducks. Tame and train are different. I want to talk about that too, but you can train them really easy actually to stay away from an area, and it seems kind of mean, but it's the only way that you can get it done that I know of. And that is when you see them go to an area you don't want to, you just flip out on them. You're like, move, get out of here, go away. And they're like, oh my God, they run. And if you do that, they're creatures of habit, and that's good in some ways. And if you do that, Charlie, quit it in the camera. If you do that, a couple dozen times, they get to the point where like, oh, this spot is horrible. Horrible things happen when you go there. So we have a few little gardens in the ground now, like flower gardens and stuff, that we don't want them eating flowers. And so we'll be training them away from that. And I want, again, training and taming. Taming, my dog is tame, right? He's also trained, but tame and train are different things. Again, ducks are livestock, and you want to be Santa Claus to your ducks anyway. Santa Claus, all little kids are happy to see Santa Claus, but he's kind of creepy and he scares them a little bit too. That way you can actually get them to go where you want them to go. They see you, they like you, they hear your voice, you teach them a certain sound. I use duck, duck, duck because it just makes sense, they're ducks. But you want to be able to do that. You want to be able to go, duck, 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 and have those birds pay attention, come over. But you also want to be able to go, okay, I don't want you here today, so when I come, I want you to have enough respect, I guess is the word, to move them away. A tame means I can kind of push you with my foot to get you to move, like my little bantam chickens are. You really don't want your ducks like that if you want to be able to move them through a system. You want to be able to get them to go where you want to go. And being basically a duck shepherd, I guess the way to look at it, sometimes you lead, but sometimes, every once in a while, you got to do a little bit of driving too, and you want the ability to do that. Why Rowans? I've already been asked that. Well, first of all, it just seemed like a fitting thing because that is our logo for 9 Mile Farm, and we won't be a commercial operation anymore, but we still are 9 Mile Farm, and now ducks are back on it. The truth, I wanted one breed. I wanted it to be dual purpose. Decided now was the time, and when I went to Metzer.com and looked at what was available, of the breeds that were available, the Rowans were the best. I really would have preferred to do Welsh Harlequins or Saxonies or something like that. Big-bodied ducks like Rowans are too, but a little bit more unusual because that way if we hatch some out, there's a value in selling the live chicks locally a little bit higher than Rowans. But I didn't want a mixed flock this time. I wanted to be able to say if we have surplus birds, we have Rowan ducks. This is a drake, this is a duck. And I think that makes a lot of sense on small operations to go with a single breed. That way you can reproduce, you can restock your own. I'll apologize there for the airplane. That's nothing I can really do about it. I want to talk real quick about the key to successful brooding. When I showed you in the last episode that water catchment device, again, that's just a frame with a piece of hardware cloth and a reservoir underneath it. Big thing with that, you keep them dry, you keep them warm, they're going to make it through brooding. Once they get, I said, like 3, 4, once they start to get feathers on them, you got a little Mack truck there. Basically, if you don't step on it or a snake doesn't eat it, it's going to make it. Right? They're tough once they get that to that stage where they know how to preen themselves and keep themselves dry and all that stuff. But when they're little, keeping them dry is key. On that note, though, whenever you make something like that, there's always places that they can get up under there. Never underestimate the ability of your little ducks to kill themselves when they're little like that. They will find the most innovative ways in the world to kill themselves. So we use aspen shavings in the thing, and when I put that thing in there, I pull it away from the wall, fill the backside, push it up against there. Then I took a whole bunch of those aspen shavings so that they can't get up underneath there. We have had ducks and turkey poults both kill themselves by shoving themselves under there. Why the hell they want to go in there, I don't know, but they do. So those are your keys. Keep them dry, keep them warm. This 100-degree stuff, they got to be 105 degrees and then reduce it by 1 degree. They don't live like that in the wild. Okay, they put them in a box and they ship them to you in a box for 2 days. You think it's 100 degrees in there? No, but they do need a warm place. They need to be able to get as warm as they want, and they need to be able to move away from it. In the world of reptiles, we call that thermal regulation. And remember, birds, while they are warm-blooded, are very reptilian in their genesis. They have common ancestry. So they have some common things, and that thermal regulation is a big part of it. You do that, you get them through the brooder. My goal is to get them outside, out here, as early as possible. These guys, since I only have 10, and since that brooder is not going to be crowded, to get them a really good head start, I'll probably put them out at about 7 days of age. That's not long from today, though. Remember, they're already 3 days old when I got them. So they'll go out probably Monday or Tuesday of next week. And with only 10, it'll be real easy to police up 10 little ducks and take them out to my little mini 4x8 chicken tractor. Big thing when you do that. If you want to do it in a time of year where they can be, outside, we don't need any heat lamps out here. It's 90-degree days. But they can also bake in the sun and get too hot. They need to be able, so make sure you put them in the shade, provide shade that 24 hours a day if they're half, well, obviously there's not 24 hours in a day, there's 24 hours in a full day period. But when the sun's out, there must always be a place with shade. Even little ducks. I have seen little ducks on days where there's snow on the ground sit in the shade by choice when they have the choice. I'm not saying to deal with your babies, but I'm talking young birds. I'm talking 6-7 week old birds when they've already been gone free range with the flock, and there's some snow and ice on the ground, and the sun has come out and it's warmed up to about 40 degrees and it's melting, but there's still snow and ice on the ground, and the whole flock is in the shade. They will go to sun when they feel like it, but they prefer to keep themselves cool. They are a cold weather animal. So make sure that if you put them out into any kind of a tractor that they always have access to shade. And if there's any kind of a cold period, run an extension cord out there, put a brooder lamp, give them a brooder lamp so they have both options. But don't bake them and don't freeze them and you'll be all right. And my big thing is, this year, what do you want to learn? What do you want me to do? What are you looking for from me? So give me your questions, give me your ideas, give me your thoughts. The first year we weighed the ducks every day and saw what game they put on. Didn't do that the first day here. If y'all want me to do that again, I can. I don't know how much we'll learn. We know that from the past that, basically they have a day where they gain a lot, and then the next day they gain a little, and the next day they gain a lot, and the next day they gain a little. It's kind of crazy how they do that. That was kind of fun and all. But as people that are thinking that maybe I want to do this, what are your concerns? What are you worried about? What do you have maybe apprehension about, you're not sure about? What ideas do you have for this season? And I'll tell you, it probably will be not the last of the duck videos from here, but it'll probably be the last Duck Chronicles. I don't really see us ever getting rid of this flock, and I don't ever see us really growing it heavily either. With having our own specific breed, maybe at some point I decide I need new genetics in the flock. I might go out and source a single drake or something like that, or a single drake and a duck and bring those in for new genetics. But this will probably be the last time we go through this process. If we do decide to have any additional birds, we've got those wonderful little bantam hens. We'll let them hatch and we won't do this work anymore. We'll let everyone do it. So if you want it in a duck, not if you want it from me, I'll do whatever I can, whenever I can to help you guys and teach you guys. But if you want it in a Duck Chronicles, this is the season to ask for it. So, again, I want to remind you, though, you can go to duckchronicles.com and you can see from Season 1, Episode 1, all the way up to here. And in the video notes below, additionally, I have put a little bit.ly link, and it's bit.ly/ducks4, or duck4, whatever one it says down there. And that'll go to a playlist that is nothing but Season 4. Again, let me know what you'd like to see, what you want to hear, and I'll try to give it to you this year.